Welcome everyone to tonight's or this month's session of Wednesdays with MDriven. So what we do here is that we are here taking questions and showing off what has been done since as of late. So I guess I can, if we have, I know Damien, you had that question about merge models, and we can quickly just glance over it, and then maybe will be something left for you to send an email as well. But
yeah, if you think it's worthwhile for everyone, then great. If not, we can keep it offline.
And so I'm gonna do entire screen and the correct one, and hope that you see.
Good question.
This.
Yes, now we see ourselves a lot.
Yeah, okay. So you see my wiki page now, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. So I'm gonna put you over here. Makes for good TV, as one says, like this. When it comes to what we have done as of late, I always go here and check release notes, and don't know why it drives me around, but so these are what is curated and looked upon and cleaned up a bit. So, but they are lagging because this says February, and we have all the historic ones here. If you want to know what's happened now or in the last couple of weeks or that, you need to go to these dumps of our check-in comments, and we are at the end of March, and you see there are quite a few check-ins for the designer. Many of these also end up in different products, but I've focused on these to look on what we have changed since last time in the designer. So I'm gonna bring the designer online like this, and I simply took those and put them in a notepad for myself, and then I've sorted them a bit to highlight the things that actually are something to show, and then there's more things that are harder to show because there are bugs and things that hopefully doesn't reappear. But let's start with the question that Damien had, because it was a good one regarding merge models. So merge models is it's reoccurring patterns that we might want to extend our existing model with, and we want to do that easily. And all of those things are located here under the Turnkey Live editor. So once we go into that view, we get this window here. What we need to do is go into this Assets TK Sync tab, because it's sort of an asset to have the merge models. And on this part of the page, we have the things from GitHub. So that's a copy of the repository from GitHub, which we maintain. And one can go to that easily by clicking a link like this, and then we get to that repository. So that's github.com and support MDriven. But to make it easier, you can just refresh a copy of that repository by pressing this button, and it downloads everything locally, and then that's available here. So that's something that you want to do every now and then when you want to get some new things before you merge something that might have been updated on in the repository. So what we can do here is get one of these merge models, maybe this one, navigator things. So I'm going to merge that one in. And what happened then is that there are a few things added to my model. Can't really see what, but if I know what I had before, I can see that probably there's a view model here called autoform thing with image and a new thing with image mobile. So that was something that was added to help us use the Navigator APIs. Navigator is the collecting name for the web browser, and that has a set of built-in capabilities that can be reached from HTML5. And of course, we want to reach them. It's like GPS, it's like the camera, it's like checking how much battery it's left in the phone, etc. So we intend to extend upon this example as we have the urge and need. So I got this class thing with an image, so that's good, and then I'm actually good to go. In the live edit editor, I might also want to quite often check that I have a fresh version of the turnkey install. Now it says it's from the 21st, and there's a new one from the 26th today. So I'm gonna grab that as well to make sure that I'm running with the latest bits and not getting confused by something old. Of course, that's something that you need to decide for yourself, because sometimes consistency is better than new things, so that how something works might be better than constantly updating. But quite often you should make sure that you have new things. So now I've started that, and it says that it started on port 5020, and I hope I don't have any other port 5020 here already running. I had, but that would I will need to drop because it's a bit sloppy. I already had a server running on that, so I'm going to restart this one. So ideally that would make things so when now it clearly state that it thinks something is wrong, cannot convert null to bool because it's null. Okay, I'm not sure why that is, but whenever unsure, one could always try to reach the same URL in the browser to see if it works there. So I'm gonna go to localhost 5020 and see, no, it doesn't work there either. So there's something wrong with this. And I sort of suspect that since I started this from click once, I have a really long path to where this is saved. So what I want to do is to resave it somewhere not so far away from. I'm gonna do a new folder and save it here instead. Now I've saved it here, and then I'm gonna restart this one, and now at least it starts. Let's see if it behaves and comes up okay. Autoform thing with image seeker. So this was one of the things that I got from my merge model, and that probably wants me to create one of those things with an image, and that probably should allow me to grab that image from the navigator. Now I think it's getting I'm using the camera at the moment, so it can't reach it. So we're not gonna go into demo the take image thing because the camera is in use. Anyway, that's an overview on how to extend your existing model with already pre-made aspects of functionality. And what's good with merge models is that it can give you both information definition like classes, it can give you view models, but it doesn't necessarily need to, but it can also give you components that extend the web application. So it's a strong concept. that we will continue to work on to make it easier to extend, to build a complete system from larger parts to move along faster. Any questions on that, Damien? Do you get the general idea? And was this what you expected it to be, or?
I have to play with it. I think so. I suspect the first question will be, if we modify what is being merged in, then presumably we're stuck in that older version of it. I don't know how easy it's to.
Yeah. So the merge model is pretty much a stamp that you just get it stamped into your model, and then you're free to change the result of that any way you want. But it's true, and that if there's a new thing added to the merge model that you really would like, you won't have that. The good thing with the merge model is that you can extend things like this as much as you like, and if you were to merge it in again, it will match on names. So I guess one example would be to rename this to image X. Now these are not the same. And if I go back to merge model and reapply navigator things, it would have removed it. It would have, why did it remove the image X? The good thing is that it kept that and it changed this one to image X. That might actually be something internal identities that we have.
Isn't it a GUID?
Yeah. So
that we are a bit back and forth on what is the best.
So I think the GUID is kept for merging on attributes and associations, so that we can see that something has been renamed. Because if you want to reuse something, you can always copy it. So if I now do image X here and keep the image and go up here and reapply
navigator things
right there, so then it's sort of keeps what you added, but ensures that the things that it offers is injected.
I almost wonder if you added a sister class, maybe a abstract one, you could put your own attributes and methods and such in a sister class, or so you'd have a one-to-one issue maybe.
Yeah. So if I add a class here, this is a not very well-known feature, but I might as well show it. You can drag things onto the auto diagram like this to create associations, and if you drag it, I think it's maybe if you drag it here, you will have it as a subclass, so you can do things here.
Oh, cool! I didn't know that.
And that sort of segues into the change.
I believe Lars has a question.
Yep.
I just got an idea. We have this with autoforms. You can say, make it my own. Would that be the thing that we should have even for merge models, so that there was like a tagged value that this came in somehow from the merge, and you could, it's like, make this my own thing on a class, for example, and say like disconnect this from being scribed.
So
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I think they work pretty good as of now, but we're gonna see how it turns out. But the main concern is that it shouldn't be referenced, so it shouldn't be owned by someone else. When you copy it, it's yours. It just extends your things. It's like a quick write. It's just like copy paste from one Word document to another.
I know, but this idea that you can then apply again. The idea was that I got from what you said was that maybe there's a way to choose if this should be seen as not to be overwritten anymore, or like if I rename it, maybe how should that be handled? This thing, if you want to apply again. I'm not sure.
So we can use this feature to show another feature. If I continue to add a lot of associations to this single class that I added just for the heck of it, at one point or another, it will be problematic to see names and association ends because we run out of room. And when that point actually occurs, we have added a new thing to manage that, which we call paging. There it started to show this. So at this point, we think that this is too crowded, or would be too crowded if we were to add more things. And now this auto diagram has been paged in page 1 and page 2. So page 2 only has these things. The subclasses and superclasses are always shown because those are more important for the structure, or it was easier to do. I don't know which one, which explanation that sounds best, but that's the way it is. So if I continue to add things here, it might be resorted because they are following alphabetical order, but there are more things here. And you might get tricked that, whoa, is this all? I don't see my other thing. So the filter function always removes the page. So if I want to see something that contains an A, it will show all the things. So let's see. So there's no fear of needing to step through a lot of pages to find something that you know what it's called. You can just type it in here. So that's one of the features that has been recently added. Another feature was also that before, when there was a lot of attributes, the scroll bar scrolled the whole class, and that wasn't very nice because then you forgot what the name was on the class that you looked at least if you were really stressed. So now the scroll bar is just scrolling the attributes. And of course this also is, well, that is actually not filtered. No, or are they? Yes. So if those are also filtered on this filter members. If you don't want to filter, you just want to highlight, you can go up here instead. So if it matches, it will draw a yellow square around it to help your eye find it easier.
Now I have a question again.
Yes.
And that is, can you go back now to the diagram and see how this looks thing with image? So now you've gotten them all, but
yeah.
I've gotten into trouble, and that is, there is a lot of things that might have been added or something, and then it's like I want to show all, and then before we had like show all in the menu, but now I don't know how to do that anymore.
So
remove all.
Yeah. So one of the things is that this diagram is dynamic, so we can just quickly touch upon that. This is diagram 1 and it's dynamic. If we instead say that diagram 1 isn't, should be stable. So when diagram 1 is stable, it won't grow as I add more things to this, unless I add it on this diagram, of course. If I add an attribute standing here in this diagram, it's added, absolutely. But if I'm somewhere else adding a lot of attributes here, now I have attribute number 63, and that shouldn't show up here because this has been marked as stable. I can also remove attributes from view by hitting delete only, not control delete. Control delete would remove them from the model, but we don't just want to remove them from the diagram. And if I want to add them back, as that was your question, Lars, right?
And hopefully in bulk, because it's like 10 of them or even more.
So easier, maybe we should add, you can also filter here to say that I only want the ones starting with 60 or containing 60. I deleted them. So maybe the ones with 5 something. And then I can check mark those.
The new apply feature is good, but it would be nice up there to like just say all or none.
If I want all, I would check that.
Oh, there is
apply.
such a thing.
So then I get all of these.
So that thing at the top at the class name is all attributes.
So yeah, where were we?
Have you snuck that in recently, or is it me who have
No. So that was maybe just all matching the filter. So if I were to add now, all will be checked, and then I would need to apply. So I guess I can just do the one start containing a 1 and invert those and apply to remove all the ones starting with 1. So this is quite a neat way, better way than we had before. Introduce pick from model is called, and then you can also point out associations that you want to add. Now I forgot to add apply, so I have to redo it. I'm gonna take these and apply, and those associations, since the class was already on screen, it just added the associations to it. Good.
I have one more question then. Is there a way to drag on a class that doesn't get connected to everything else? Sometimes I want to add a class and then just add associations to that one. But I guess the solution to that, but if there's nothing that I link to yet, because I want to start linking to it, it happened with sys singleton. I was like, I want to put sys singleton on the diagram, but I don't want it to like connect to everything I have.
Like this.
Yeah, I didn't want that. Then I copied it from another diagram, but that seems like kind of a roundaway thing to have to do too. I was trying out, like, can I shift draw it or drag it or?
No, I don't think there is a way to do this, but I guess one could, then one needs to unselect all one by one here, which of course is a hassle. So yeah, you should submit that to support@mdriven.net.
Exactly whom would be reading that?
Hans
Lars
and Herbert and me.
Yeah, I thought you might be emailing yourself.
Yeah. So let's see if we had this. Yes. So this one is alluding to that in the view model editor, the filter. Well, first, filter and find has been is now available both for the web edit and also for the VPF edit. And that's another change, that the VPF edit, that's easy to jump to the VPF version of the editor showing this view by clicking this one. Okay, it ended up on another screen. And then on that one, it's easy to show the web edit version. So they are good at different things, so you might want to switch between the two easily. And this filter is working as now it's highlighting, and if one reads here, now it says that it should filter and toggle to find, click to toggle to find. So I guess it did the opposite from what it said. So if I click here, it says find, so that's find. But if I click to filter, it sort of reduces. So if I were to write date, time, And that makes it easier for us to find what we're looking for. But it's just temporary, and whenever you press escape, it should go back to normal. And while we're here, a new feature, we have these subcolumns that if we want to add more logic to this particular view model column that isn't available, if we would like the presentation to be an expression as well, that's something that we sometimes want to do. Okay, now I've messed with the model. So subclass thing1 contains name things with image. So I need to fix the model errors, and I guess I will do that by saying that this class 1 isn't a superclass of. So to change superclass of something, one can simply go in here and say null this out to say that there shouldn't be a superclass for this. And I guess still got some errors. Other thing 2 contains, let's see, other thing 2 probably has multiple relations. Thing with image subclass. Okay, there's another subclass thing. So I'm gonna remove the superclass from this as well too. And there's still something. So I guess we can, this was a hassle when we see the errors here, but now we can bookmark the errors and press Control Shift B to have all the errors copied here. Contains multiple things. So it says that there are multiple things. I'm just gonna remove some of these because I can't really see it, but I guess it's correct. It's seldom. Does any one of you see what it's thing with image? Thing with, here's thing with image and other thing too. Aha, it's other thing too. I was on the wrong thing. So once the model is correct, it should be possible to so now I'm back to show you the ability to add subcolumn expressions. For example, if you want an expression to change the label text. So normally the label text would just be a static name, but once in a while you also want the label to be controlled by data. And then you would need an expression here as well. So instead of making everything expressions all the time everywhere, you would add a subcolumn to handle that, and then you get a new place to write an expression, what you want the label to say for that particular thing. But I only mentioned that because we had an issue with these placing containers and the visible expression and the style expression. These are not needed to be extended as expressions because they already are. But the problem was that they didn't show anywhere in the tree. So whenever I had an expression here, for example, true, I couldn't see that was set. So now that is added. That's a change from today to, so that we know that this placing container has this expression visible true. And if it has a style expression like new style 1, that will show up here, and that helps when for example we're doing find. So if we're looking for new style 1, that's easier to see where that is in use and also to understand what's going on. And while we're here, yes, Lars.
2 questions. One, just to point out a difference for everyone, that the visible expression on a column in the view model has self there is a root of the whole view model. But if you add the same, but because then would say that, but why is there like visible on the column itself, and then there's another visible expression that you can add. It depends on where you want it to be rooted, I would say, at least. Is that true, Hans?
Yes. So the history of the UI is that it was what we called cursored UI, namely if you had a table below here, as we have in this, every object we point from there, they can only show in one list. It can't be in list like a tree. And when that was the case, it was reasonable to have the visibility associated with the view model rather than with the object, because there could only it was the whole UI that decided if a control would be visible or not. And as we have evolved, we now also support very hierarchical UIs like trees, and then it becomes important to be able to say visible on a per object level, because a tree node might be visible in one branch but not in the other, etc. So yeah, that's an extension of our abilities to display UI.
My other question was, is there a way, because I had this talk about CSS, I think it was last month, and my diving into placing containers and those things. And one of the takeaways is CSS might be great at general overview things, but it devolves very quickly into chaos when you want to show data dependent specific things for an object. And then when I was continuing that work, I think I would find it very useful if I could say in a style expression, like a style, I could calculate something that would actually be part of the rendering, basically, of the view, or it should be like inserted onto that that specific tag. Maybe when I'm saying it out loud now, I realize maybe that can't be an expression, but at least it would be nice to be able to send something like the minimum width here is this, or the size of the font is this, and that would go into the generated style tag on that HTML thing, not having to first define the class in the style and then reference at that from the CSS.
Yeah, so what you're alluding to is more like what we can do in HTML, set the style straight on an element instead of setting a class that defines a style.
And we do that. How it works, the view model is rendered into HTML, or that has these things on them. This is this and this placing container and these things. And then I would like to say, I would like to put red in there, or like it should be green, or the font size should be bigger, because now you turn into having to use important in CSS everywhere, because like everything is a little bit more important than the last thing. And
you definitely should refrain from using important, and I don't think that you need to use important if you use the styles in models, because those are placed at the level so that they have precedence. And of course, if you have that precedence and you define all your styles in one place, you can't really get confused in naming two different things the same way, which is the reason you need to resort to important, because if things match the same thing, you need to help the browser to decide which one of them is the important one for you. So we add a few things straight on the generated element, like these max and min and margins, etc., because that doesn't make sense to make styles of everything. But the general rule is that you should make styles of most things, because to get consistency and reuse. So that's double-sided sword, that you want to be consistent, but of course you need precision. So and in the clash of precision and consistency, you resort to getting frustrated by being forced to declare a style for everything, even if it's just being used one.
I think I had the problem here with the grow. I had a very specific need for how to phrase some style elements, and that was difficult. So I was hoping for, next there to the right, there would be just type here for things you want to include in the style.
Yeah. So we need to also, and at least for now, still take care for the VPF edit to actually work. But if we were to see this in the web edit, I usually switch between these to make it go into...
An advanced edit is very useful here. I have found, at least. I like that one, big one.
Maybe, so this one is, I set the, not sure why it would, okay, it got confused somehow, not sure why. But yeah, I wanted to show another thing, that web UIs tend to be very long, and it's actually a good practice to do your UIs longish. So because users are used to read documents, and if things are stacked on top of each other, that's a good thing. And what I've noticed when that spills over to VPF, and they tend to get long, and we actually had a limitation on this height in the editor, so controls ended up beyond the biggest height, which was something like 1400 or something. No, it was more, but so I've extended that one to 6000. So now at least you will have more space to design in, if that's what you end up doing. Of course, these are settable here. They are only for view, for you to help you to see what happens with when things fold. So this is pure display to simulate a shifting size in window, so that if this one was actually a row and actually had wrap, I guess it would behave differently once we reach some threshold like this. Good. So yet another improvement, I think, is that, of course, we have had the right-click menu over here, but we didn't have it over here, which was very annoying. Because if you were here and wanted to add something and do something, you had to get back over here and point at the right place. So it's a small change for man, but a giant leap for mankind.
Oh, then I have a question again, a suggestion.
Yes.
Could it be that if you are on an expression field anywhere, you could press edit or something, and then you get the, instead of having to click on those three little dots.
All right.
That's
Yes.
very, very little small thing.
Yes, that's a good suggestion. So standing here, pressing F2 should bring up this one.
And double click is not good really, because there's other reasons for wanting to double click. But F2 would really be, it's like, yes, I want to edit it. And then boom.
I'm also entertaining the idea that this should be made into an alternative control, mostly like this, but rendered very tiny, and replacing this so that you could have this behavior like the pop-up things here. But I haven't gotten that far. I think your suggestion is good, and we should do that.
Because there's tons of places where we have this. Down in the property editor, for example, it's like, yeah, you click down there on the tiny little thing. And the bigger screens we have now, these things tend to be tiny, and I'm getting older for some reason, so it's getting even tinier.
I have the same problem. This search window has been made better as well. So when you write something, if you only search for an attribute 4, you before had to write dot or something like that, and it showed too much. So now when you, so at least I think it's better that it's not 2 columns, they are bounded together. And if you also would like to limit it on class, you can do that by starting this with a dot or having something, so you can search with precision like that. And if that goes, you see everything on other thing too, or that contains other thing too. And if there's a dot, you also get the attributes. So to limit the results when you have large models. So if you get ideas on how it should be instead, you can post them to support at MDriven, and we will see what we can do to accommodate. But I think this is turning out pretty good. And when it comes to like actions, basically no actions, I'm gonna update the auto forms to force it to do a lot of actions. And before this button was added to make it easier to delete the action that you're actually at. Also, this information was added, displayed by columns. And what does that mean? Well, since this action is in this auto form, I can go here and see that some of these buttons, placed buttons, is connected to an action. And if that information wasn't available here, I could get afraid because it's not opted in anywhere. So I could get the feeling for this action is probably safe to delete, but it wasn't safe to delete because it was used by a button. So this is quite important to in order to know that if this button is okay to delete or not, or this action is okay to delete or not. Good. I think this one was good. It was something that Frederick suggested. So now we are on a thing with image, and if we were to add a column, you're going to add a generic column and stating that it follows a role to detail 3, for example. Normally this would render as if I wanted to add a nesting, I would probably had gone here, add nested view model class, and then take it from here, because then I've got would have gotten the nesting automatically. But if you do it like this, you can of course go here and then add the other nested and tie them together yourself. But that was a lot of work. So this button was added. So it will check what type is in this expression. Nice. So detail 3. And then it will create a nesting of that type. So it will be faster for you. So it did the one that's named mostly the same as this, and sees that this ends in type detail, and so you're ready to go to add some attributes to that.
Obviously, good. Sort of years ago.
And also, let's switch this one to placing container as well, because as the menu is available here, it's also available here. And that's good, because then you can add things straight from here to build the UI. Or even, of course, delete something that you don't want to be there anymore faster.
So we're just about out of time. So
yeah.
You talked earlier, Hans, about showing AI things today, but I guess this AI will wait till next time.
Yes, so Edgar has done a great job with retrieval augmented generation from the wiki to, I think it gives perfect or nearly perfect answers on a lot of questions. But it's not public yet, and we will make that public real quick and then we can discuss how to improve that further on. Very good.
Also, could you make just a short 30-second cliffhanger out of the view model assisted AI thing?
Yeah, so of course we when it comes to AI, it's everyone wants it, but how do you want it? And that's the question. We have had from before this thing at the start menu where you can go to the chat and log in, and never seems to remember me. So this is quite good, because then you can say things like add attribute X of type string to, and let's say thing class. So that's not on screen. What if we send that, we should get something back. Oops. Okay, this still isn't perfect. Add attribute X of type string to thing class, and then it will do that for you, which is good. And if we think that we should do this with speech in the future, that would be good. But I've come to the conclusion that a much better approach is, well, it shouldn't replace this, but what we should do is have a text field where you can say, what do you want with this view model? What should it do? What's the end goal with this view model? And if you have that, the AI should be fed all the existing things in the view model now, and then it should say what your view model actually does today. So that's two fields. One field with what you want, and another field with what it actually does today. And then a third LLM should calculate the difference. What are the next steps that you should do to get closer to where you want to be? And that could also be like these actions that you just click on those steps. If you haven't a place to enter the social security number in your UI, but you said that you wanted one, do you want to add it? Yes. Because that kind of documentation is really good to summarize why have you added this view model, what was the purpose of it, and is it up to speed, is it finished, or are there things left to do? So even if you wouldn't use the actions, derived actions, to actually fix it, it's good practice to have a reviewer to say these things are left to be done in order to fulfill your goals. So I think that would be a real blockbuster AI application.
And now you're stopping in the middle because this was supposed to be a cliffhanger. So everyone who wants to hear the conclusion of this AI-driven paradise of the future, please join us in 4 weeks.
Yes.
Good. That is a great director.
So thank you very much for showing up tonight. Really appreciate it. And we will publish a video of this to so that you can have to get back to if there's unclear things, and reach out and ask and comment.
Thank you all. Thank you for showing up.
Yes. Cheers.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.